Hello out there in Streamland. Welcome, Mantha. We are doing a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons prep. If you're catching this at 10:30 because you were ready for your normal Tuesday Svenster Lovin', you will realize it's already done by 10:30 because I have stuff going on today and wife aggro, so I had to do it a little bit early. But Mantha says up doing some writing because I can't sleep. Haven't seen notifications, so here I am to lurk. Woohoo! Nice. All right, so got several different things we're doing today, and um, we are working with. First of all, we wanted to touch on going to do some calendar details. So for those of you who don't use calendar in your campaign, I would suggest it. I love it. I use it a lot, especially as a DM. I went, I never used it for years, obviously, and then as soon as I found out about it and how to use it, I've used it all the time and never looked back. And then I'm going to be adding pins to a map so the players can, when they look at the overall map, they'll have different pins that identify where they are, on what different things are. Uh, and we're going to be looking at some languages, and we're going to be preparing an encounter for them as well. All right, so starting with the calendar, I've got some. If you double click on the calendar, what'll happen is when you open it up, you go to your library. The calendar is accessed up here in the top left corner. Players can access it as well. They can input information in there. Well, I got something going on in my throat today. They can't they can't type information in there themselves, but they can read it and access it. Also, you'll notice that there's a GM and a player side. All right, so um, I think what I'm going to do uh, is mess myself up a little bit, all for you guys. I'm going to change the scale so we can, so you guys can read this a little bit better. So if you go here in your chat, hit the // button, SCALE scale, and then UI uniform India, then uh, a number, space and a number between 50 and 200. Atomic. Good day, Sir Sven. Hello, Mr. Atomic Hero Squad. How you doing? If any of you have seen my stream before, you notice I've mentioned Atomic Hero Squad because he's awesome. It's Atomic_Hero Squad. It's a great way to start your day. Um, nice, relaxing, friendly guy. Always interacts with his chat. Um, plays lots of different games, racing games, Smite, Gems of War, Blades. So check him out. Mario. He's been doing a lot of Mario because there's been a special competition going on. So definitely worth checking out. He does it in the morning from Pacific time, like 5 to 9. Eastern time, 8 to 12. So definitely a fun guy. I'm not saying that he's a mushroom, but he's definitely something you should check out. So you do the scale UI space 50 to 200. Typically, most players like, depending on your monitor, like about 90 to 100. Those of you who are a little more visually impaired want to see things a little bit bigger, Might bump it up. So I'm going to be bumping it up to 110. We might go to 120 here, just so you guys can see. If you're on your phone, you won't be able to see anyway. But if you're on your PC and you want to read some of this stuff, I think we'll go up one tiny little step further. Let's go 115. And while you're in your chat box, your cursor is there. If you press the up arrow, it'll pull up the last thing that you typed. Broken Mold Live. Well, hello, welcome, welcome. I don't know that I've talked with you before. Great to see you. If you have any questions about Fantasy Grounds Unity, feel free to ask. We're going to be doing some calendar checking. So there you go, 115. Doing some things on the calendar. We're going to be adding pins to an image, a map, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of a looking at an encounter, taking an encounter that was made for first level characters, bumping it up to a third or fourth level. So we'll be checking all these things out. So when you pull up first time, if you wanted to use the calendar, you can go here to assets. I mean, not assets. You go to your library where your modules are. And then if we click on modules, one of the modules there is the calendar. Sadly, you can't gift subs yet. I really appreciate it though, Broken Mold. I'm looking. I have one requirement before getting mine just went blank. Affiliate. One more. I just need to have an average of 3 people watching the stream for so many hours. And I've been slowly creeping up on those numbers, getting those numbers, but I'm close. I'm hoping very soon I'll have that. But I appreciate the thought very much. Broken, that's awesome. So you type in calendar if you have a lot of modules like I do. Boom. Make sure it's loaded. And then when you open up the calendar, it'll give you a bunch of choices. And the the choices are range anywhere from the traditional calendar we have with our 12 months and the names. There's also a Raven Loft calendar, which has first moon, second moon, third moon, all the way through 12 moons. There's a Starfinder calendar. This one as well. There's a Greyhawk calendar. Lots of different calendars. This is the calendar of Haptos, I believe it was what it's called. Harpos, something like that. Let me see if I have the image in here. I did in one of the other ones. I like this one because it's unique. Yeah, Harptos. Calendar of Harptos is what this is. Okay. Well, there's Harptos. There he is in all his glory. That's not what I wanted. But here you go. I'll leave this up for a minute just because Mantha's here. Get a little eye candy. Let's take a not a token. It's an image. Yeah, well, here it is. Calendar of Harptos. Boom. So with this, we'll create an image record. So you have the correlation between you can see the calendar here. So you start off with the first month and then 1 day of midwinter. In the middle of the third month is the spring equinox, and it's noted here. 1 day of green grass, summer solstice, etc., all the way around. So I like the way this is set up. I like the flow of it. It gives you a lot more things to mess around with within your campaign, a lot of unique dates. So that's why I prefer for a couple of my campaigns use the calendar of Harptos. Um, and then you can also so I put my have my players make birthdays and stuff. So like here is Scramble's birthday. So the little red dots indicate that there's something written on that date. So here's another one, Trick's birthday. And then what I do is you can see here um, on each day, I keep track of the time. So on the 15th of Uktar at 8:30 in the morning, they went to Phandalin, and then they camped at 6 o'clock. So the 16th, though, there's a lot more that happened throughout the day. Boom, keeps track. And then the cool thing is, so that's the one thing is it allows you to look back. Thinking about purchasing the Ultimate License thing so my players can play on demo accounts, but I can't see how it is people make or use demo accounts. And Steam doesn't seem to have a demo download, and YouTube tutorials seem to all assume you already figured out how to get a demo account. Okay, so real quick, um, let's address that. Uh, the way I think about it, this is not while I'm pulling it up. Um, if you, it's similar to the way I like to describe it is it's similar to playing tabletop in that if somebody has to buy all the books, so it does come with the SRD, the free stuff for a lot of different role-playing games, including Dungeons and Dragons. Um, but someone will have to pay for DMG, Player's Handbook, stuff like that, if you want to use those books. Um, but beyond that, everybody can use them. So once you have them, everybody can use them. All right. So to answer your question, you go to fantasygrounds.com, which is right here, and it's actually simpler than you may think. You can they just go right here, click on Windows. They can also go up here to the top where it says Downloads, Fantasy Grounds Unity. Um, so it depends on which one you're getting. If you're getting Unity or Classic, um, both of them have a little bit of a learning curve, but uh, within 15-20 minutes, your players should be able to know enough of what they need to do. Um, and then, as far as DMing is concerned, that's a little bit more of a learning curve. If you buy any of the pre-made stuff, so like the right now the one I'm showing you is using the Dragon of Icefire Peak starter kit. That's as a DM, that's what I would highly suggest. Mines of Phandelver or something like that. Um, and that's how I would suggest, especially one of the starter kits. So there's Stranger Things, Rick and Morty, uh, Lost Mind of Phandelver, or even this one, which is like the Essentials kit. Those all of them will walk you through step by step, even through Fantasy Grounds, of what it means to be a dungeon master, how you can set things up, things like that. Um, Also, there's a guy named Spencer77. If you go to YouTube and search Spencer77, he has a lot of videos on on prepping using Fantasy Grounds. So you can look through the different descriptions and see what I've done and what I cover each day. Um, but yeah, so this is it. They just go, you click on Fantasy Grounds Unity, boom, in downloads, and then if you scroll down, it's right there, demo, and you just say download for Windows or download for Mac. So just like that, that's how they get the demo. And you are absolutely right. I think only one of my players actually owns a license. All my other players, I have 9 players between Starfinder and D&D. They all have demo versions, and they use all my stuff. So fantasygrounds.com, Go to downloads over here, Fantasy Grounds Unity. There is a Steam version here. I'm not as familiar with Steam. You mentioned Steam, but the Steam version is right here. Get Steam version. Let's see what that says. Fantasy Grounds Unity. So buy it, upgrade. Yeah, I don't see the demo version on Steam either, but I'm not familiar with Steam. I don't know why it wouldn't be here. I just don't know where it is off. I've never used Steam for Fantasy Grounds. Um, I do know they have bundles. I do know they have sales. They have all this other stuff. Um, I just don't know where it is on Steam. Um, and they do have, by the way, one-time pricing and monthly. So what I did is I checked it out first monthly, and within a month I had purchased the ultimate, and you never have to buy it again. That's the great thing about Fantasy Grounds. There's not a monthly thing if you choose and want to go with the lifetime. So it's awesome. All right. So hopefully that answered your question. So the other cool thing about, besides being able to go back as a player and a dungeon master, go back and see what they've done and when they did it. The other nice thing about the calendar is it keeps track um, of what's going on right now. So right now they're on the 17th day. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I can always push this to them in the chat. Just clicking this button, it says what the date, and over here is the time. Boom. So if they ever want to know, boom, you can put that in there. Um, but I have been slacking as a DM. Thank you so much. Wow, that was so simple. Well, here, since I can't give you money, I'll try to help you. Just mostly lurking, but I'll try to speak up and chat once or more per hour to be considered a chatter by the algorithm. Well, thank you very much, Broken. That means a lot. It really does. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Um, as you can see, we've got Mantha. We've also, she is one of my players, actually, and one of my best role players. She's an amazing person, but she also knows a little bit about streaming and stuff. So and knows a lot about Fantasy Grounds. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, and one of us will be glad to respond. Um, so I've been slacking as a DM, and I have not kept up my calendar. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do that. So the cool thing, like I said, is you can use it as GM. So if I have things planned in a certain date or in a certain amount of time, or if somebody wants a magic item made, and so they say, hey, I need this +2 set of armor made, and he says, come back in 3 days. I put it in the calendar, boom, in the GM note and the player note usually, saying that this is going to happen. If they're diseased or if they're going to turn into a mind flayer, I can stick it into my GM notes. Mantha's character turns into a mind flayer on this day. So um, that's what I use the calendar for. So let's get this going. So sadly, the last entry I had was a couple days ago. The 16th of Uktar. They had killed Yemic, came back to Phandalin. Since I haven't yet bought one, would you say Unity is a straight upgrade to the original kind? Um, Unity has a lot of cool immersion things going on. So honestly, it would depend on your comfort level. Um, Back in the day, my day, there was no Unity. So I honestly started with Classic. Uh, and the main difference is Unity is Classic with a bunch of extra stuff. Um, as a player, there's virtually no difference as far as what the players can and can't do. Um, so their interaction doesn't really change. The biggest difference with Unity is what the DM is able to do. When you're first starting, it can seem overwhelming, especially with Unity. Uh, Classic doesn't have the line of sight. Lighting is going to be coming out. Dynamic lighting is going to be coming out here. Uh, it's already out in the test phase, the beta testing right now. So they guess within a couple weeks they'll have dynamic lighting. Um, Doing stuff, building a map. You can build a map in Unity from scratch, and I have a lot of videos on that. Uh, that's actually one of the things I was thinking about doing today. Um, and you can't do that in Classic. Uh, so it really just depends on how clear you are and how fast you are at picking up these type of things as the Dungeon Master. Um, there is nothing wrong with starting in Classic if you wanted to buy like a monthly subscription, learning some things in Classic, um, because, for example, if you need to do in the middle of a fight, clicking on your character token, clicking a target, rolling the dice, those are all going to be the same. So the basic mechanics of how to play the game, how to use Fancy Grounds are going to stay the same. What's going to change is all the things you as a Dungeon Master can do. So if you wanted to start with Classic for a couple weeks or a month, play around with it, get used to the system itself, and then jump over to Unity, you could, or just go for Unity, and then the nice thing is if you get one of these pre-made, I still suggest you go with the pre-made first. Like I said, go with Lost Mine of Phandelver, or you can also go to DM's Guild, and they have different products on dmsguild.com, that are available, everything from free all the way up to 70, 80 bucks. Pre-made modules for Fancy Grounds Unity. If you go over to the left, there's let me show you real quick. That's free. There's here it is, Dungeon Master Guilds. So you can, um, the only keep in mind though that this is basically fan built things. So you go here to format, and you go to virtual tabletop, and then if you want to, you can then go to price. You can have a search for the price range. You can also go by, if we go here to setting, is it? Product type, yeah, adventures, and then you can then pick, well, first level. So then I've got it all and it's free, for example. So you can pick up these free modules. Now some of them are really good. Some of them are very basic. So it really just depends, especially if it's free, what you're looking for. I even have some conversions on here that I've put on here myself. My point is, pick up one of these things that are already made, especially within Fancy Grounds, from the Smiteworks store. Those are all top quality, high quality, excellent stuff. Um, and then it'll walk you through as a DM what you need to do step by step. Or even if you don't get one of the starter kits, if you just get a module, and start running it, you can, as you go through each story, it'll tell you what to do. So for example, here in I have what we're playing right now is the boom. Oops, wrong one. It's the Dragon of Icefire Peak. Boom. And so it tells you all about how to set things up as a DM. There's even a DM's crib sheet so you have the DM actions. This is the actual DM screen right here. You can access it really fast and easy. You've got maps for the DM. You've got player maps. So buying something that's already pre-written makes it really easy. I'm about 30 games into my first session game as a DM, and it's homebrew, so it's good advice as I'm looking for a module next. Right, and there's nothing wrong with homebrew. I do homebrew. I'm just saying is honestly jumping in, building homebrew in Fantasy Grounds Unity is probably going to be a bit much and a bit overwhelming at first. Give yourself, even if you just do a one shot where you're 2 or 3 sessions, um, it will then give you enough that you need to where you can, okay, I know how to now import an image. I can set up my own map because you're going to have to do all of that with you if you're doing homebrew. Um, and so hopefully that answers your question. Um, you can learn how to set up these story entries yourself, how you link things. Again, a lot of my videos cover these type of things. So if you're doing homebrew, absolutely. You can also be working on your homebrew at the same time as you're playing your um, with your other players. Um, the hotbar at the bottom of the screen is much easier than flipping through books in real life. Yep, good to know. So yeah, these down here you have 12 hotbars. Then if you hold Shift, you get 12 more. If you hold Control, 12 more. If you hold Alt, 12 more. And so if 48 hotbars aren't enough, Shift Alt is another set, Shift Control is another set, and Control Alt is another set. So there's 7 sets of 12 hotbars you have access to, where you can just drag things and then just click it once and it'll pop open. And that's for monsters, encounters, maps, images, um, almost anything can be dropped down there that has a link next to it. Even rollable tables. So like I have a DM, my voice right here. I have a table for my NPCs and how they speak. And I just click this button and it rolls on that table for me and throws it in there. Um, so the hot keys can be your friend. All right, so hopefully that answers your questions. Uh, if you're pretty comfortable, I would say 90% of people should go right into Unity. If you did want to go to Classic, there's nothing wrong with that. It will give you a basis on how to, open up a map, how to fight, how to interact with the story image and with images and what all these different things mean, the parcels and the encounters and stuff. But don't, I wouldn't, I would not buy the lifetime version. Just get the demo version or the monthly subscription. Then once you use it, jump over to Unity or just jump into Unity to start with, and you can start running from there. All right, so let's get back to our calendars. So I have a little bit of catch up to play. I'm going to check. So in their quest bar here, um, I want to check one other thing. I don't have a Discord. All right, so what I need to do then is I'll go to the party sheet here. This has you can look at the party. This party is a barbarian, a fighter, and they each have a sidekick, which is included in Lost Mines of Phandelver. Um, Dragon Device Fire Peak, and a spellcaster and an expert sidekick. But the one I'm looking for here is down in the XP tab. It has all the different encounters that they've done, so that can remind me the order in which they did things. Because so this is a game that runs from 10 p.m. to midnight on Wednesdays. And so typically I like to do these catch-up things after the session. I'll just go into the calendar and type it in real quick, or before I start the next session. But I go from a game that ends at 9:30 to having to take my dog out and then get the table set up and start going at 10. So shifting my streaming services because I stream both games. So I don't have a lot of time. So I'm using these. These are all my excuses. I just need a little bit of cheese with my wine um, as to why I failed at life. What it comes down to is I did not take the notes I want to, so now I'm having to play catch up. So here are all the things they've been awarded experience for. And so I'm looking back. So this goes up to Yemick and Clark. Clark's Cave, Goblin Den. So then they went to, okay, so that was the 16th. At 2:30, they head to Phandalin. Um, so Phandalin is about an hour and a half from the cave, so it would be 1600. So they had left and then they came back to Phandalin. All right, so that gives me an idea. I'm not going to do a whole lot of these just because it would be very boring streaming. But I wanted to at least get a couple. I'm going to put, so go to my calendar. This is the 16th. They spend the night in Phandalin, so now the 17th. I'm just going to put a couple basic notes in here and I'll come back later, fill this in. So they go to the Gnomengarde. We can close this one. They killed the Mimic and then they came back and they went out to the Loggers camp. They went and came back to the Loggers camp. So actually, this is the 16th. They started to head to the Loggers camp. Slept at a hunter's lodge. So then on the 18th, arrive at the Loggers camp. Killed some Ankegs. They head back to the lodge for the night, and then on the 19th, they came back to Phandalin. And by the way, that's my background today, Phandalin. And then they headed to, they slept. So the next day, 20th. See, I am days behind on my calendar. That's really sad. And then they left to Butterskull Ranch. Went to Butterskull Ranch. And then returned to Phandalin. So that's where they're actually on their way back to Phandalin right now. That's where we last left. So I'm going to fill in some more information on those different days, but now you have an idea. My characters have an idea. So you click on this on the 20th and you say set date as current date. Click, boom. The time is 10:14, so they left the Butterskull Ranch. Took them, oh no, they didn't, because it took 2 days to get there. So my bad. Let's see. So 19th, they came back. The 20th, they went toward Butterskull Ranch. Spent the night. Camped on the roadside. Arrived at the Butterskull Ranch. There we go. Okay, so today is the 21st. So what you can do is to change the time, you just hold the control key and use your mouse wheel, and it clicks the hour. You can do the same thing for the minutes. And then as you go past midnight, it then jumps to the next day. So this is the first day of the 21st. And they got to the ranch at about 10 in the morning. Did all the searching, talking to him as well. So I'm going to say it's about 11:30 a.m. So here, that is the current time. Boom. And they're going to head back to Phandalin. All right. So, boy, you guys have been busy in the chat while I've been um, talking away. I saw the icebreaker question. Oh, absolutely, Atomic. Broken mold is absolutely correct. I honestly I played with a lot of different groups, and I've even gone to the mall where they have or the game stores where they have the games that you can just jump in. It's called Adventurers League, and you can just jump in and play. Um, and we definitely I've never seen anybody really harass or make fun of or um, new players. Now, veteran players and things are just like anybody else. Friends are going to harass each other, give each other hard times, and stuff like that. Just look at some of the streams I'm in. Um, not that I make, but where I'm a player. Oh yeah, we harass each other all the time. But as a new player, oh yeah, I've never seen anybody not help you out and be willing to do stuff. And Fantasy Grounds makes it fun. The main concept is you're a dude or a chick, whatever you want to be. You're this person, and you're in this situation. What do you want to do? And you tell the story player, Dungeon Master, what you want to do, and then he tells you what roles you need to make, or what happens. That's all there is to it. So it's basically improv. Then once you can learn the system a little bit, know what you need to roll, what you need to, what your powers are, stuff like that, then you can get more into it. But it's just pretend. And some people play it like a video game. They don't talk. They just walk up. I hit, and I wait till my next turn. I can hit again, earn some experience, get better at it, and now I can hit more often, stuff like that. Other people like Mantha will sit there and their whole characters will get really involved, will shed tears when another player dies or even an animal dies. Um, there's it really and there's everything in between, and no one is right and no one is wrong. It's all how you, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. So uh, I keep threatening to have there are several of us streamers that we jump around from and support each other on Twitch. And we all play totally different games. I don't think any of us play the same games. Um, and I keep saying, hey, I want to do a Starfinder one shot, which is a 3 hours of Starfinder to get everybody into role playing games. It's gonna happen. I tell you, it's gonna happen. Um, all right, so we've done our calendar. So that gives you an idea of how to use the calendar in this. This also shows me that I have not given them their XP. So let's take a look at what's going on with the Butterskull Ranch. So here's the Butterskull Ranch. You'll notice that these are all green, which means the players can access them. And as you zoom in, you see I added some dead bodies, a little headless orc, some dead farmhands, and up here we have more dead bodies. If you zoom in, but so the players can sit there and look and see, oh, these are gardens, and these are the cornfields, and I made each one of these so that you can just click it, and the players can see a field. Corn grows in the field because it's a cornfield. Burnt barn, um, the apple orchard, stuff like that. So, and then there's sheep that are actually pigs. They just look like sheep, wandering around because they got loose when the ranch got attacked. That's the overhead map. So now we have the Butterskull Ranch. This is the storyline. So these are all linked that I have down here, and I just go along, boom, boom, and I have all the. You can do all this yourself. What's the scale on that map I was just showing? There is no official key, but it's about, so the ranch itself is 60 feet. If I want to say, so it's about between 40 and 50 feet per square on the overhead map. I'm looking for my lost image of the map. So I deleted it because we were done with it. So that's why. Give me just a second here. Let me find my. There's a DM map. Here it is. Farmhouse. All right, so the farmhouse is right here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. Yeah, so that's 65 feet from here across. So like I said, it's about 30 to 40 feet per square. 40 to 50, something like that. Anyway, so here's the maps. And you can see this is line of sight. Broken mold. This is what it looks like in Unity. So as the person moves around, they could see out windows through doors. If the doors open and close. In Classic, it would just be. In Classic, it would just look like this. And then as the DM, you can mask it. So it will be black to the players, and then what you do is you reveal area. So you would think, okay, you're in this room. Boof! Now you can see this room. So that's probably the biggest aesthetic difference between Classic and Unity is, well, this is line of sight. Dynamic lighting means, let's go back, let's go over here to Jackson. Jackson here, he is a tiefling, this guy. So if he was holding a torch and you turn on dynamic lighting, he would have within 20 feet of him, it would be in color because you could see with light with his torch. He has 60 feet of dark vision, so from 21 feet out to 60 feet, it would be in grayscale because dark vision is you see in shades of gray. So that would all be automatic as as he's moving his character. You would have these two circles of light that extend out from him. That's the dynamic lighting. Also, if you're in a long cave or a long hallway, for example, and there's a torch at one end that's lit, or a candle even that has a little light, and your character is down here 100 feet away, you could see what the torch is, and then there would be blackness, and then you would see down here. You would see what's around that torch. So that's dynamic lighting. And there's a lot of things. That's just the tip of the iceberg for what dynamic lighting can do. Anyway, so that's the main difference between classic is the masking, um, and then you do have to unmask, and then everybody can see everything. So for example, with line of sight, if you're Scree, if you're Trix, this guy, he doesn't know what's going on in this room. He sees through the doorway that happens to be open right now. He can barely see Cree. In Classic, he doesn't see what's in this room because I've still got it masked, but he sees what everybody can see what everybody else can see. You know where everybody else is. So, is it a huge game breaker? No, not at all. Is it a little cool? Yes, we were very excited when we got line of sight. Um, anyway, so this is where we are. So the reason I did this is because I need the encounter from here, which is right here, because I did not give them the experience. Exploring the farmhouse. Boop. So that adds it to here in the party sheet. It adds just things. Now the players don't see this. The players only see inventory and order. Again, you can change it how you want. This is their marching order. You can change what they see and what they don't see in your options, but the way I have it set up is the they don't see a lot of the details. Anyway, so XP. So they get 1,200 for that one, and then they had a fight on the way to the Butterskull Ranch. So we will go to our encounters. Wow, I never named this. So this was to the logger camp. $900. Okay, so they did get the XP for that one. All right, so looks like, so you'll see how to make an encounter. So if you are in the right section, which I am, you go right click and you go to create item. So here's an encounter. This was to Butterskull Ranch. You pull up your monsters. So I have a ton. I have 19 pages of monsters, and that's only with probably half the books I have available to me. Open. Little brag in there. Bandit Lord. Okay, why did my... That's weird. So speaking of having a ton of stuff, it looks like a couple of them are not open. Yeah, like my regular monster manual is not open. That's weird. Okay, so you go to modules. Monster Manual 2, Monsters of the Guild. I want to open up, where is my monster manual? Here it is, load. All right, so for some reason, so when you changed, if you change how the theme that you're using and how it looks when you play, that's called a theme. There's a little bug in it right now, just started last week, where it turns off some of your, you have to open up your books again sometimes. Anyway, so now that I have this, now that I have my books open, there we go. There's my bandit and my bandit captain. So I had one bandit captain and I had 3 bandits. Boof. All right. So now I have access to those. You can drag these pins, these links here, onto a map, into a story entry. And it makes it really easy to where you can just click, 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 and find what you want to find. All right, so here's those 2. So now we award. Boom. If they were playing, they would be able to see they each got 431 experience, and they now have 2,067 out of 2,700 to get up to level 4. All right, so we set up the calendar. That was one other thing I wanted to do tonight. Today, here it is, late night. Calendar, languages. All right, so let me check and see. So if we go into your options, as a DM, you can set up languages. Okay, so it's there. And then this is what it looks like. So I have a special thing that lets me have a lot more choices to choose from. So instead of just having Elven, I now can have Sylvan, a Primordial, or Orc, for example, as that looks like Greek. Um, so if we go here to, say I have a Goblin who's talking, I can put it on Goblin and say, you adventurers, go away. And what does my Goblin look like? Let's see. Goblin is Dethic. Okay. So that must be what I was talking about. Looks like my extension is not working. So let's see if Dwarven is working. Go away. There we go. So that's what it is. That's what I meant. I need to fix the languages. So turn that back on. So you can see here, it says translation, go away. So though anybody who speaks Dwarvish in your party, everybody will see this weird characters, but only those who speak Dwarvish will see the translation go away. You can do that as a player or as a DM. You can switch to different languages. I do that quite a bit as a DM. I like using the languages a lot. Players will also talk to each other that way. So just to make sure, when Steam says buy Fantasy Grounds $39.99, is that just Fantasy Grounds or is that standard license? I want the $150 Ultimate. Other than the books, is that all I buy, or has Fantasy Grounds its own purchase and $150 is separate? Um, So the $39.99 is so I can't. You're right. I don't use Steam for Fantasy Grounds, but I can show you the $39.99 sounds like classic. Let me just verify that. So if I go to Fantasy Grounds itself and you go to downloads, okay. So there's standard and ultimate, um, and so this is the standard sub. Um, the biggest difference is you cannot host games for demo players with standard. You have to have the ultimate in order to do that. Um, if they have standard and ultimate, then you can the host, you can be the DM for it. Um, that's pretty much the biggest difference. Then the ultimate is the 150. So if I don't know that Steam has, I didn't look and see if it had the. Let me look. Where was that link? Steam. Here we go. All right, so the $39.99 is, boy, I don't like how this is set up. I can understand your confusion. So it's not like, "Durr, why can't you figure this out?" No, I absolutely understand. It's very confusing. Um, so this gives you, so here's the 100. I don't know why it's that price either, because it's not that expensive. Okay, this is an upgrade from Fantasy Grounds to Fantasy Grounds Unity standard license. Okay, so it looks like what they did is new buy Fantasy Grounds Unity Ultimate License. All right, so it looks like it's on sale for 109. So if you're going to do the Ultimate License, that's what you want to do right here. Hit this 109 one. Um, so yes, it looks like that they've um, yep, so the 109 is the way you want to go because it looks like it's on sale here for because it's a featured DLC. Um, does it go into more details? Ultimate license upgrade. Okay, that's an upgrade. Hold on. So what is this bundle giving you? Um, I'm just confused as to the price because it should only be 150. So this is some sort of bundle that gives you something else. And I just don't see what it is that it's giving you. Let's see. In addition, you can also, okay, we know about all that. All right, so I honestly, I'm sorry, I don't know this um, what this price, what you're getting, because it says it's 40% off. 4 items. So you have Fantasy Grounds, Fantasy Grounds. Oh, okay. So there we go. So this is, it looks like, if I'm understanding right, and I could be wrong, Fantasy Grounds Classic, um, with and the Ultimate Classic and Ultimate Unity. So that's why it's 179. Because if you were to go here, yeah, so that's both. So what you're looking for is just the Ultimate license, which would be, looks like this one here. Is what this is, bundle info. Fantasy Grounds, nope, that's classic. You don't want that one. Boy, I don't like how they have it set up on Steam. Maybe just because I'm not used to it. So what you want is back on the other, wherever we were, here we go. Fantasy Grounds Unity, but this is the upgrade. So we don't want the upgrade because you're not upgrading from anything. You want the the talking to people who use Steam, the reason they use Steam is they like their specials. Because every once in a while, people, the Steam will have a Steam only special. And that's why they prefer Steam. I personally have never used Steam, so I cannot really talk to it much. To me, I agree with what Mantha just said. It's much simpler. It's very clear. It tells you exactly what you're getting right here from the website itself. And that way you're not going through. You also don't have to open Steam every time you open Fantasy Grounds. So personally, I've never used Steam for Fantasy Grounds. I have one. I play a game, Baldur's Gate 3 through Steam, but I don't have anything with Fantasy Grounds through here. So what you're looking for on, let's see, if we go to, where was it? No, that's the actual web installer. All right, so if we let's go back to where we were, Fantasy Grounds Unity. So this, so Fantasy Grounds Unity, what is this? Why is it $39.99? That's the weird price that I'm getting. Oh, okay, this is the standard. That's what that is. Um, you don't want the ultimate license because it gives you classic. And honestly, if you're going to use Unity, you'll never use classic. There's no reason to use both. Your games don't you can transfer, but you can't do them both at the same time. So I haven't touched classic in a long time, except for to bring information from classic into my Unity games. So these are token packs, all this other Fantasy Grounds stuff. Um, so it looks like that one that was $100 is the one that you want. Search. This one. My only concern is I don't know exactly what it means by upgrade. It doesn't explain. This content requires the base game Fantasy Grounds Unity on Steam in order to play. So it looks like you would have to get the $39.99 and then this upgrade. 190, which would then equal 149. So that's what it looks like you have to do if you click the $179 bundle, I think it allows you to remove pieces. So I got this figured out now. So this requires Fantasy Grounds Unity, which is the $39.99, and then you add the 109 to it, gives you $139.99. So that's what that is. This gives you both. You said it will let you. Yeah, see, so here's explained. So what I said is correct. You would in Steam, you get the 39.99 one first, and then upgrade using the 199.99. From the website, you just go and just do the one-time 149. So that's the way you would do it on those two. Well, good. Now I learned. Now I learned. Sorry it took so long to figure that out. Um, only Steam doesn't let you. Yeah, no, the bundle doesn't work. You can't take away the classic. Yep. All right, so we are. I am closing up shop, folks. So hey, Broken Mold, I hope to see you again. Um, check out the videos on YouTube. Uh, I saw Mantha posted the link um, earlier in the chat, and I'm here on Tuesdays morning. Normally 10:30 I start is when I start in the morning on Tuesdays. So if you're around, check it out. Um, and you can also see how this plays out on Wednesday nights. We play D&D at I run my games at 6:30 to 9:30, and then this particular game that we were messing with today starts at 9:30. I mean, starts at 10 to midnight. It's just my brother and my son. We mess around. We have a lot of fun. Um, I also do Starfinder stuff tomorrow, and Starfinder live play. So check them out. Everything is also uploaded to YouTube. Look at the playlists, and you can then pick and choose what you want. I have classic videos on there as well, so if you want to know for sure what classic is like, you can see some of the differences. I have prepping for Fantasy Grounds using um, prepping as a DM for Fantasy Grounds, and then the ones that are Unity say Unity. So that's the difference between the two, and I have both. So thank you so much. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, do all those things, and whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.